Hi, I am back for part 3 of 3 of my Halloween recommendations, and today I'm going to be talking about witchy book recommendations. Oh, I never put the vampire books back. Oh well. Okay, I don't have much. I have 2 times more books to put back. Anyways, I split these recommendations into 3 parts because like it would just be too much to do all these books in one video, or I would have to leave out some books. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna just do these in 3 parts. Anyways, let's just get into the video. The first book I have is Practical Magic. Now let's just pretend that this is Practical Magic because I don't own that Practical Magic. I own Magic Lessons. Oh, here comes my cat. She does this on purpose. It's like she was watching me, and then once I started talking, she was like, I'm gonna go now. Yeah, so I guess we could say Magic. I haven't read Magic Lessons, but I guess we can say this series in general because I'm not gonna lie to you, Practical Magic is a little bit boring. Okay, now I watched the movie for the first time last year, and I absolutely loved it. It was such a vibe. It was so Mayana, like cozy, witchy, cottagecore, like it's just so like the house. I'm obsessed with the aesthetic of the house. Like, oh my gosh, like the hairstyles, the fashion. I'm just obsessed with all of it. So it's like so me. And so I read the book earlier, like sometime during this year, and the book was definitely different from the series, but I have read that like Magic Lessons is a lot better and has a lot more plot. I just want to put this on the list because it fits the vibe and it's witchy. But I think if you're gonna, I feel like you should just read Magic Lessons because I'm trying to tell you right now, I liked the Practical Magic book. I loved it. But that's just because I think I love the like aesthetic and like story overall. The reviews are not great if you go and look at them. So I still want to recommend it. And then I have The Year of the Witching. This book is like Fear Street 1666 if you've seen that. It follows, it's so funny because my room is like a maze. So it's just so funny watching my cat just like weave through everything. Well, it's not like a maze, but it's like a maze for her. So yeah, this is about a it's written by a black author, and it's about like cults and this woman discovering her mother's diary and that opening up a lot of secrets for her. Okay, I have a book that I have not read yet. I started it a year ago before the I don't know what I'm trying to show y'all, but yeah. Okay, so I started this a year ago before the covers got changed because I like those covers, and I'm not gonna lie to you, I saw that, what is it, Alone with You in the Ether cover remake, and that shit is hideous. I'm sorry. And I was like, oh no, let me hurry up and read it, but I didn't read it fast enough. I did like what I read. It's supposed to be like Romeo and Juliet but for witches, and I think that's such a cool premise. And so I think I'm gonna love it. Even if I don't love it, I recommend books more so because like based off of like what I think my audience would like. I just feel like such a fraud. Like, I do not like recommending books I have not read, but I did open the book, okay? And then we have, oh my gosh, one of my favorite books that I read last year, A Witch's Guide to Fake Dating a Demon. This book is becoming very popular, and I am so happy that it is because it's genuinely so good. I mean, it's about this girl who's a witch, and she just feels like she can never do anything right. Like, she just can't cast spells right. Everyone else in her family can get them perfect, and she just can't. And so she casts a spell, and it ends up bringing a demon into like her life, and her mom is just like, she just feels like such a failure to her mom. She doesn't have a husband, she can't do magic, like girl can't do shit, right? And so she ends up introducing him as her fake boyfriend. And if you guys don't know, I've been sick of the fake dating trope, like sick. And this is like it works in this book because they're like witches and werewolves and vampires and shit, so it makes a lot more sense. But this book was just so fun. I highly recommend checking it out. And then I have Slew Foot. This book is about this, it's also like Fear Street 1666 if you've seen that. It is about this girl who, okay, so she, in the beginning of the book, she starts off, she's married off with this man, and she pretty much likes him. You can tell she's not really in love with him, but she likes him. I mean, it's kind of like the circumstances for like back in that time, set in 1600s. And his brother sold his land. Like, okay, so okay, so with the guys, their dad had passed away, and their dad had 2 land, and he gave one land to both. He gave one land to one his son and one land to the other, but he kind of like he gave both lands to the oldest son, but the oldest son was nice and gave the land to the younger brother. Basically scammed him. And so the book starts off with the brother being like, basically, I sold your land. Even though it's your land, I sold it because I didn't want to sell my own land. So yeah, you're gonna have to do something about that. I don't know. And then the main character, she's like, girl, and like she's always speaking out of turn, and it's just like, ugh. The patriarchy was like, women aren't allowed to speak, or like, shut up, you child. Like, it was just like, ugh. And then so as the book goes on, these like creatures are like luring through like the woods, and eventually the husband ends up dying, and the creatures in the wood end up kind of partaking in the main character, and the main character ends up becoming fond of them. And someone compared it to the children from A Nightmare Before Christmas, and I thought that was a really good comparison because that is exactly what the children were like. Like, literally just think about Nightmare Before Christmas and then the kids, and like they literally relate to these creatures, even though these creatures aren't really like necessarily said to be like kids or anything. And I thought this book was really good. I gave this book 4 stars when I first read it, and then I decided that I loved it too much and I needed to give it more than 4 stars, so I actually ended up giving it 5 stars. It's like one of my favorite books I read all year. It has pictures in it. I don't think I ever showed the pictures. Now, when I first read the book, I'm thinking it's about to be pictures throughout the book. No. Like, it's literally... And the author drew this himself. He did the cover himself. He did these pictures himself. So, yeah, he did this. I feel like I'm like a teacher right now. I feel like you can't even see those. So, yeah, it's just like... random pictures in the middle of the book. There's no more pictures after that. I'm like sitting here reading the book. I'm like, I know somebody said there was pictures, but like, where they at? And I get to the middle of the book, all the pictures are in the middle. But after like when reading this, like it made sense. Like when you were reading it. But yeah, love this book. And then lastly, I have The Ex-Hex. When this book first came out, everybody loved it. About 2 weeks later, everybody was like, this book sucks. I hate this book. Personally, I had a lot of fun reading this book. I still love this book. I think it's great. It's about this girl who's a witch, and her ex-boyfriend breaks up with her, and she puts this stupid little spell on him that basically curses him. She doesn't really think that it's real because they were just fucking around, and then nothing ever like came of it. He steps back foot into the town to fix the ley lines or whatever, or something with the ley lines and his dad. And when he steps foot in the town, he ends up like experiencing like the worst shit ever, and he's like, this bitch hexed me. So then it's second chance romance, obviously, and then he goes back to her and she's like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry, like I didn't mean it. He's like, whatever, girl. And then they work together to try and figure out how to get this curse lifted. And I just thought this was so cute. I love a second chance romance. I love witchy. I like to call these books paranormal romances, or cozy paranormal romances is what I like to call them. They're basically, because I feel like paranormal romance is like the other witchy books, like they're like very like action plot driven. These are more like Hallmark movies, and I love them. And it's so crazy because I don't like cozy fantasy, but I love these. It's so weird. But yeah, I'm so sorry that this recommendation was like short. I mean, I guess that's the point, is to make them short, but I feel like I didn't have as many in this recommendation as I did the other ones, and I didn't have any graphic novel recommendations like I did the other ones either. But maybe next year I'll have some more. But yeah, that's it for this video. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.